Jung is in white, Ulberg is in black. Going to be very interesting to see how Da-Woon Jung approaches this particular stylistic challenge.
Yeah, he's insanely well-rounded, like Laura said. And he does have the ability to go out there and try to wrestle Ulberg a little bit. But he's got to be very careful, because the moment you get in the range with Ulberg, he's such a good athlete. He's so long that he can land counters. And before you know it, your lights are out.
You good?
He almost has the weaponization of patience, does Carlos Ulberg. He'll stay on this outside for a long, long time and make guys feel like they have to come into him, and then right when they do, that's when he lands that check hook.
Right, and that wasn't the book on him, right? When we saw him against Kennedy, he looked rough. He was just reckless, and he was just throwing. And Kennedy ultimately got to him, but what's helped him win all these fights in a row is his patience, and he's developing. And he's starting to look like a guy that can make some noise at light heavyweight. And this is a fight that he expected. He figured he would see Da-Woon Jung at some point in his UFC career.
Right.
Feels like in the dogfight, if he could turn it into that, is where he could catch Da-Woon Jung.
And Da-Woon Jung at times has felt himself and found himself in those type of fights in the UFC.
Looked like Jung checked that last kick pretty well. Carlos Ulberg is a tough puzzle to figure out, but Jung's going to have to put together a little bit of volume. You cannot enter the pocket quietly against Carlos Ulberg.
Predominantly leg attacks on both sides thus far. You did see a jab a moment ago. Under 3 minutes now in round one. Looked like Jung ducked underneath that Ulberg offering.
Good jab to the body there by Jung.
And that's what Jung needs to do. He's got to mix his targets, show some level changes. He's got to present Ulberg with a bunch of options if he's going to try to get in close on him and make this a physical fight, like you said, DC.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of cutting him off right now, but as he cuts him off, he's got to take space a little bit. So you go side, side, a little forward, side, side, a little forward, and the next thing you know, you're within the range to try to get something off. But you can see that Jung is very aware of the power of Ulberg. I've always watched these guys, and they have these reputations of being hard punchers. And I watch their opponents almost tiptoe around the power. I just remember having conversations with Kane, and we know that these guys are great punchers, so we wanted to just get in their face right away and feel it.
Right.
Yeah. You feel if they hit that hard, and if they knock you out, I guess you find out that they hit that hard, but most times they don't. So it's better to just address it right now, and then you start to just be able to fight. Right now, Jung is trying to stay so far away because he's so aware and so hesitant of the power of Ulberg.
You can give too much respect, and that's just going to allow Carlos Ulberg more time and more space to operate through the way that he wants to.
Huge right hand to Ulberg. Jung is down, not out.
But even that, right? He's at range. Ulberg went and exploded and dropped it.
And now Jung seemingly welcoming the dogfight. So just as Da-Woon Jung had started to realize success to that lower half, Ulberg lands a bomb. Oh, nice knee to the body by Black Jag.
Nice frames there by Ulberg to not allow Jung to clinch up as well.
Ulberg did have some energy expenditure management issues in that UFC debut. Largely has had quick fights since. We'll see if Da-Woon Jung can extend him here today, but managing things well early.
But even in that situation there, J.A., where he dropped him, it was much different than when he dropped Kennedy, right? He did not empty the gas tank. He's taking his time. He's way more measured, and that's what you expect from these guys as they go on in their careers.
Ulberg has now knocked down 4 consecutive opponents. Strong round 1 for the Kiwi. Right back. return for Laura Sanko back on the cans for the Contender Series this Tuesday.
A lot of jet lag in that show, ladies and gents.
A lot of jet lag and fresh eyes.
A lot of fresh eyes.
Fresh eyes. All right, round 2. Carlos Ulberg, Dawoon Jung.
Jung landed a nice right hand. But it just seems like the power is different. Ulberg hits him and he almost wants to sit down every time.
Well, and it's interesting because I got power in all caps on my Dawoon Jung card, but there are just levels to that power game, seemingly.
Well, and we talked about that a little bit in the fighter meeting, right? He was kind of coy with me about how he trains for it, but when you watch a lot of his knockouts, those left hooks are not being pivoted into in some huge way. They're short or they're long and very, very subtle, and it's just amazing how much power he's able to generate in that way.
Yeah.
He didn't want to tell me how he got it, though.
Jung is landing some good outside leg kicks.
Carlos, fingers.
Nice jab by Ulberg. Jung starting to mix it up well here early round 2.
He's going to have to, right? And once you got knocked down, you know what the guy has. You felt it. Now it's on you. What are you going to do? You're going to stay at range and be at the end of his punches or try to smother him a little bit?
He's just not presenting enough questions to Carlos Ulberg, right? Like he's sort of staying at the range, but you got to put volume out there, or at least feints or level changes, anything to get Carlos thinking about something other than his own offense. You're allowing him to set up too much.
John made a great point earlier. He said Ulberg had some energy management issues in his debut, but he's won quick fights since. We don't know if he's addressed that because he's gotten everybody out of there, but now he's in round 2 with Jung, and Jung still isn't making him do enough to see if he still has those same problems in terms of managing his cardio.
Numbers essentially are even, but the consequences of that Ulberg power appear to be more dire. Dawoon Jung has only been knocked down twice in the UFC tonight, and by Dustin Jacoby back in the day.
Now, one thing Jung is doing, he's pressuring very smart. He's measured, he's landed a lot of good outside leg kicks. There's another one. And a few of those counter right hands he's landed.
I think he might be a bit of a speed disadvantage.
And even when Ulberg doesn't throw everything into it, and oftentimes he is mixing up the tempo of his strikes, he's busting him wide open.
The way Jung is pressuring Ulberg, and Ulberg's on his heels the whole time. If you get after a guy that's constantly having to move and evade and avoid you, you can fatigue them so quickly. But right now, Jung's just not giving them enough to deal with. Jung has to throw more.
Well, and when you're dealing with a faster guy, you got to tie him up and make it more of a messy fight, grind it out a little bit. We've seen Jung do that so effectively in past fights. He can grapple, he can get in there and go work.
Well, we just saw it in the Jack Jenkins fight, right? Jenkins was so fast that ultimately Chepe Mariscal clinched with him, and then obviously his elbow dislocated, but he changed the way the fight was playing out. He didn't go and listen to the same song and dance the same dance. He said, we ain't doing that. It's time to play some mariachi music. Right. We're not going to just be out here listening to country.
I love that.
Twice this round, Ulberg has landed a left hand while backing up. Jung doing some good work down low now.
A lot of good leg kicks by Jung. Jabs, eating them up.
So those that expected to see some wrestling from Dawoon Jung have not seen it yet. Carlos Ulberg has never been taken down in his UFC career.
And Dawoon Jung has that in the toolbox.
Oh, absolutely. 8 takedowns in the William Knight fight, and William Knight's a pretty good wrestler himself, but right now he's getting a meal full of jabs.
I mean, his eyes, he is so beat up. When they say Ulberg, it sounds like Goldberg. Goldberg. Go. I love that. It does sound like Goldberg, so don't.
All right, Cutman's got some work to do in the corner of Dawoon Jung. Third and final round on the other side. Fight. All right, third and final round. Carlos Ulberg barely breathing at all on that stool after round 2, DC, and they didn't even ice his leg, so he's in pretty good shape here.
Yep, he's fine. That's one of the biggest tells, right? When you get to the corner and the corner immediately starts getting the ice on the legs.
Yeah.
Carlos Ulberg is feeling pretty good right now into the third round and really fighting at his pace.
Well, that's exactly it. He's fighting his fight so far. He could do this for 10 rounds. Ulberg's corner asking him to find the right hand, though. They said, listen, you need to find a home for that right hand. Don't chamber it. Throw it from in front of your shoulder, and it's going to land.
Well, everything he's thrown hard has landed. That's why all these jabs have just busted Jung up. He's not moving his head. Jung is pressuring without moving his head before he gets in the range.
Or putting any traffic out there. I mean, if you're going to look to cross the street, you got to, I mean, put some stuff out there, you're going to get hit.
Well, Da-Woon Jung has been game as we've come to expect. He has had his moments, but they've been few and far between as Ulberg continues to lead the dance here late in the fight. And seemingly the jury is still out as to just how high the ceiling is for this budding contender, Carlos Ulberg, but the matchmakers have done a nice job.
Oh. He's got to stay on him when he lands like that, does Jung.
Ulberg back to work on the jab. We've seen Ulberg mix in some effective leg kicks here, round 3.
Jung landing a bit there, but it's sort of a one-for-one game. Jung gets this, working that clinch there briefly, but the knees from Ulberg.
Pretty good shot.
This is it right here. This is exactly what we kept saying, DC. He's got to mix it up, working that wrestling. He does have a beautiful takedown.
That was a beautiful takedown. Great double leg. Gets a takedown, but Ulberg does a great job of attacking the hands right away, getting himself back to space. But now Ulberg's mouth is open a little bit. Jung is making him work more. I mean, another level change would serve Jung well.
Yep.
100%.
Just shoot on him, make him wrestle. Because Ulberg does not seem to be handling this pace very well now.
Well, and now Ulberg is wrestling.
And that's a tell, right? That's a tell. That's what Blood Diamond did earlier. He got hurt and started wrestling.
Da-Woon Jung, not much of a submission threat. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu blue belt. Couple of career wins by sub. Oh, nice knee.
Jung digging this underhook here on the left side. Putting Carlos back on the fence.
Carlos is doing everything in his power to stay connected to Da-Woon Jung.
He wanted a takedown.
He sure did. Oh, that was blatant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty blatant fence grab. We move on.
Carlos is right into the full mount here. Got a half Nelson, dropping ground and pound Da-Woon Jung.
Jung's gonna have to either give up mount or give up his back. He's in a bad spot.
That's a great response by Carlos Ulberg.
You can see the hand is trapped for Jung between the staple, between the legs of Ulberg there. He's not going to be able to block these shots or do much.
Jung trying to survive the final 20 seconds.
Well, Carlos is holding his wrist under there.
Yep.
Oh, he's going to flatten him out. Oh, he's choking.
This is underneath. I think this is tight. This is tight.
Final seconds. Da-Woon Jung trying to survive.
I think he'll make it.
And there's the final horn. Whew, what a way to close it out, though, for Carlos Ulberg. Perhaps someone in our truck saw a tap from Dawoon Jung. Let's see.
I'm looking.
I see a lot of blood. All right.
From that angle, I didn't see it.
Carlos Ulberg trying to level the night for City Kickboxing at 2-2. They have 6 athletes competing here tonight. Different angle on the end of the fight. There's a tap.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a tap, I'm being told, that came with 11 seconds left in the fight. Now, Herb Dean did not see it. Mark Goddard is showing this to Herb Dean to our immediate left right now. So this is going to go into the books as a win by submission. I'm not sure if Carlos Ulberg realizes that. It'll be his 2nd career win by submission.
Yeah, you can see here clearly. At first, I thought maybe he was trying to fight the choking arm, but obviously, I mean, that's a tap.
Ladies and gentlemen, after review, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 49 seconds of round number 3. Declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, Carlos Blackjack